Hi, I'm Joe Cunningham. I'm here at the National Exhibition Center in Birmingham, England at the Festival of Quilts. Having a great time, and I have my gallery full of quilts here. This one is called The Molecular Structure of Job's Tears. It's one of a series of quilts that I've made using traditional quilt pattern as an inspiration. The traditional one pattern that's called Job's Tears is a little four-pointed star, very elegant and cute. And when I actually read the book of Job in the Bible, which is like it was written by Stephen King or something, I thought, oh, I could make something that'd be much more horrible and in keeping with Job's tears. So I used all this paint-spattered work clothes that someone had given me to create this kind of grubby effect, and then some hand-dyed fabric to make this sort of lightning strike there. And then for the quilting, I found a scientific study on tears, where they learned that if you dry on a slide tears of onion, tears of joy, tears of grief, they form completely different crystalline structures because they're made of different chemicals. Different emotions make tears of different chemicals. It's so fascinating. And so I used the little point from the four-pointed star and created a crystalline structure here. So that's why it's called the molecular structure of Job's tears. In 2019, I had a show in Italy, and there I met some quilters from Ukraine, and they invited me to have a show there in 2020. Excuse me, June of 2020. And for some reason, it was postponed till June of 2021. And then for some reason, it was postponed again until June of 2022. So in February, when the war broke out, but at that point, I'd become good friends with a museum director and some artists in Ukraine, looking forward to my show in Kyiv, which I used to pronounce Kiev, in Kyiv. And I was so shattered by thinking of my friends in this war zone that I decided I needed to make a quilt about it. So I picked a bunch of fabrics that would show the beauty of the land, and I put these ominous birds on there. And while I was working on this quilt, the bombing of Mariupol broke out, where they bombed this steel factory for weeks and weeks on end with the men trapped inside. And it was so upsetting, I decided that I needed to transform this into a triptych on the subject of the war in Ukraine. So I made this one first, and then during the bombing of the steel plant was when I made this. And when the bombing was over and the tide seemed like it was turning in the war, then I made this one. The quilting here is a embroidery design that I transformed into a quilting design for this project. And here it's a Ukrainian Easter egg that I transformed into a design and made it over and over, and made the eggs about the size of a hand grenade. My friend John Pappas in Chelsea, Michigan is a graphic designer. He designs my business cards and my logo and stuff. He's a great friend, and he does greeting cards, he does company things, but he has a letterpress at home with which he prints things like cards. And when he cleans the press off with old T-shirts that he cuts up and makes into rags, he cleans the ink off from the press between runs with those, and then he sends me the cleaning rags. So here I used the rags just as they came out of the box, and it was in 2021, and I decided to make an ox. It was the year of the ox, 2021, in the Chinese horoscope. So I made this ox with these printer's rags, and then I thought, if it was 2021, it was the political situation was totally chaotic, and it was COVID, And I thought, if I was that ox, where would I be? And so I decided it would be lost in the woods. So I quilted, I transcribed a picture of the woods that I had taken, just leaves and trees and sticks, and I transcribed it into my computerized machine and put this ox in the woods. So the name of the quilt is Ox in the Woods. This quilt is tar patches from the highway that I had embroidered onto little pieces of fabric, and I put them together. And then I transcribed an engraving by Albrecht Dürer from 1512, and he was not around to prevent this. So that's what I put with St. Michael slaying the dragon and some of his friends putting down the rebellion. And that's what this quilt is. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you again, I hope. Bye-bye.